is going on, guys? This is Gnarly. Today I'm bringing you week 3 of basic military training, talking a little bit about just the Air Force recruiting videos that are on their channel. Again, don't forget to go check out their channel because these videos are not mine, like they are the Air Force's videos. So also these opinions are my opinions, not the Air Force's opinions. I say that occasionally just because information is really important. I don't want anything to get misportrayed at any point. And the things I talk about are my experiences and so on and so forth. So this is a shorter video, I believe. Week 3 is when you really start to get into the routine of BMT and you really start to just kind of apply what you know while you're still going to classes and doing PT and stuff like that. So there isn't like tons of things that are new to go over because BMT is a really repetitive place trying to drill a lot of things at once into you, if you know what I'm saying. So let me jump straight into it. So this is week 3. If you haven't seen week 2, week 1, or 0 week, don't forget to check those links in the description because you're going to be completely lost. Unless you already know about week 1 and 2 and 0 week, then I don't know. So I talked about this in, I think, my last video. Again, this is Disneyland. You can see how nice it looks. But they are doing MTI tools, I believe. Or they're just practicing push-ups and sit-ups and stuff like that. So occasionally your MTI before you go into lunch or chow, whatever time of day it is, or sometimes just in general, like when you're on a break from class or whatever you're doing, sometimes you take little breaks to just practice your push-ups and sit-ups. And you do this all the time. And it really does help you build that endurance for your PT tests that you do take at basic. Also, in the summer, I wasn't at BMT in the summer, I was in there in the spring, but it was super hot then, so I can't even imagine doing it in the summer. But doing workouts in ABUs in Texas is no bueno, so definitely you sweat a lot doing things like this, and it helps just build you physically, so I don't know. Oh, also, third week of training, they talk about it more in the video, but third week of training is your second issue. So that is when you get your blues and also your name tapes. Your name tapes on your uniform. So that is the first time you actually are going to have your name on your uniform. And it's like super surreal because that's when it like hits you. You're like, dang, I'm kind of in the military now. I am in the military now. Like that's when it's like super cool. And like, you're like you start to like look at your like neighbor, you know, and you're like, dang, like this is super real now. Like it's super weird, but so if I can remember how it works is you have a whole day basically that's dedicated to your second issue for blues. And it's the same building that you go into when you first got your ABUs in 0 week. You went to this line, got your ABUs, you got your boots, and then you kind of check out and after you get your haircut, or you get your haircut last. It just depends on your flight. But you go through, you do that. Third week, this is when you go back to that same building in a separate room. These rooms are huge, right? And you sit in there and they brief you about all this stuff, right? There's so much stuff that you do this day. It was ridiculous. Like you sit like this, right? And you get a shirt, you're trying a shirt, and then you have to have this same lady right here go make sure the shirt fits you, make sure it looks good on you, then you go back, grab another one, you're emptying all this trash off your uniforms, like all these little tags right here, and so there's trash cans everywhere, like all these shirts are wrapped in plastic, and like sometimes the people are hard to understand, or sometimes these civilians will get really frustrated with you and you just kind of have to work with them. Like some civilians, no offense to any civilians out there or anything like that, but some civilians are hard asses for no reason. Like they're we would talk about it a lot amongst our flight about how some civilians that you work with at BMT kind of pretend like they're MTIs, like they try to be very strict and rude, and then you have the other civilians that understand what you're going through and they're very helping, if you get what I'm saying. So you have two different types of people, and you're just gonna have to work with it and deal with it, which kind of sucks sometimes, but it's alright. So
during the third week of training, our trainees receive their second clothing.
Also, the sizes on these shirts, the sizes on the pants, and everything that you have, the sizes aren't like small, medium, large. Like they're very specific. Like I had no idea. That's why there's a lady that tells you what to wear. It's not like some stupid dumbed down stuff. Like there's like so many different types of shirts, and you know, whether you're fat or skinny, like it's insane. So
issue. Our Air Force Blues.
Okay, sorry. This is a short video, but there's so much content. So I hate pausing like that and talking so much, but I mean that's the point of the video. So basically while you're here, it's not like you try a pair of pants, oh, it fits, great, let's go. Like, no, you get it altered, right? So the pants they're not finished. They're not produced and finished yet. They have to be altered. So in the back, there's like a freaking sewing shop with like a bunch of people, and basically there's baskets, right? A basket for like pants, a basket for your, you know, service coat or whatever, right? And you're putting your name tag on you put a name tag on your item, whatever it may be, okay? And there's tons of civilians that size you. They're tailors, that's what they're called. Sorry, I was trying to think of the word. And basically they'll look at you and they're super specific, like, okay, you know, this needs a bit fixed, and they'll mark it. This needs to get fixed, and they'll mark it, and they'll put an X on it or mark it or say it's done or whatever, right? And then you have to put it in the basket, and you wait like an hour or two. It felt like 3 hours sometimes waiting for your pants to come back from the back of the shop. And there's like 2 flights in there at the same time. That's like 120 people. That's 2 flights, 120 people, if they're full flights. But like there's just so much waiting, and like you'll get something back that's been altered, and then the guy's like, ah, not right, marks it again, and then you have to wait again, and it's crazy. Also, your shoes, they scratch really easily, and that's the first thing you do, I believe, is you try your shoes on. So you get like a bunch of stuff. Also, this day you eat a box nasty. If you remember from my 0-week video, it's a box nasty. It has like it's sub in it that's been frozen forever. Oreos, some mustard, some mayo, pretzels, and a juice box, I believe. So
Blues uniform. Also, this is when they receive their name tapes. So they get to look down at their chest and they get to see that my name is actually on my chest now. That I am actually a part of the greatest Air Force ever. They also go through many academic classes, such as...
I don't remember this class too specifically. I thought we went through the 2nd week, not 3rd week. I'm pretty sure that we did. I'm almost positive that we went through this class learning about the parts on our gun when we got them. But whatever. Basically, this class helps if you know about weapons already before you join the military. But if you don't know about weapons and you're sitting watching a PowerPoint, chances are you're only going to learn a very little amount, because I feel like the best way in BMT to learn how to take a gun apart, learn how to put it back together, learn about all the functioning parts and what they do and stuff, the best way to do that is, number 1, CAD them when you're at Beast, because it's actually a real gun that you're working with, and you actually get to shoot it after he explains how everything works and what it does. And also after this class, or maybe not necessarily after the class, but when you get your gun, in your BMTSG, it has all the parts, and like there's like mats with all the parts, and like you can take it all apart, and usually there's at least one person in your flight that knows how to take apart like an AR-15, M16 style weapon. So usually they're pretty helpful too. But I do remember this class. I'd never had her as a teacher though.
Is mental preparation for combat. We want to ensure that while they're making this transition, that we're not only focusing on dormitory lessons and drill, but also we want to make sure that they're prepared for what the reality is. Towards the end of the week, they have to receive their 2nd appraisal. During their...
So, again, I've talked about this before. We have this thing called open ranks, where you get your uniform, like it's just an inspection type thing, where you get your uniform super good, right? Like the best that you have ever had it in your entire life. And this time you're doing it blues. You did it before the ABUs, you do it again later, but you do it with your blues this time because you just got them. So basically, after you get your blues for that long ass day, you go back to your dorm, then your MTI is like, okay, now we're gonna mark everything. Just like you did 0 week, you get a Sharpie, you get these little cards that have like a certain size that you're supposed to write your laundry mark, and there's a certain spot on each uniform item that you write your laundry mark on. And like you go and you do that with everything, and it's a lot of stuff, trust me. And then after you do that, you have a couple, like an hour or so or whatever, maybe even a day, to cut all of the strings to make sure that everything is lint rolled, everything is ironed, everything is, you know how to wear it properly. Also, you don't have any medals yet, but because you don't get those till you graduate, but you do have your name tags. Your MTI will get those, and he'll give them out to you. But basically, it's just a type of inspection. Also, fun fact, the belts that they give you in BMT have a purple hue, and they would not let us wear them at tech school. We had to go and buy actual belts at tech school that they're like an elastic. They're way nicer, way better feeling. These ones are really hard. They're really hard, like, material. I don't know what the material is, but the other ones are like an elastic, and they're way nicer. Definitely recommend getting one once you get out of basic.
Appraisal, we go through, we check their blues, check all of their second issue clothing items to ensure that they're meeting the standard. We've shown them what it is that we're looking for. So
Again, I know a lot of you are probably like, what are they carrying? That looks so weird. So these guys in the back, we don't carry these anymore. These are their web belts, right? So when you see them in ABUs, they have them on. It's what carries their BMTSG, their canteen, stuff like that, right? It doesn't carry their BMTSG. That goes in their pocket, I think. But we have backpacks now. It's called like the Backpack Initiative. So just aside from that, these vests are for the road guards in the front of the flight and in the back of the flight. Or they all go to the back of the flight, but if they're called to the front, they go to the front, and then they rotate eventually. So they stand in the street, like at parade rest, with their arm out, stopping traffic, essentially. That usually isn't any, but they stop traffic in the roads, and then your flight crosses the street, they run back, and yeah, so. But the reason they're carrying them instead of wearing their web belts around their waist is because it would obviously look unprofessional if they have these super military freaking like web belts around their waist when they're wearing blues that are like really fancy. So, and same thing with the backpack. Like, the backpacks are definitely more classy than the web belts, but they wear them around their left shoulder, and you one strap it. So you have your hand on the strap, and then you have your hand, you know, marching, you know, handcuffed. So. Fun fact, when you get there and you get your blues, you will be carrying your backpack. Not, you know, down, but yeah.
So by week 3, they've decided to take a little more initiative, do a little bit more than what they did during that first issue appraisal.
Alright, so that is it for the 3rd week of training. Like I said before, like obviously it wasn't a bunch of stuff in the dormitories like, oh, you're going to be doing this. Like, it's super simple. Like, you go to closing issue, you have your open ranks, and then you literally just keep practicing drill and stuff. That's pretty much it for 3rd week. 3rd week isn't that, like, after you hit 4th week and on, that's when things start to get kind of crazy from there on out. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. Really hope that you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Don't forget to leave your ship dates down below as well so that all of you can connect. If you have any questions whatsoever about anything that's related to joining the Air Force, BMT, just anything, MEPS, the ASVAB, anything, just feel free to leave it down below. Also, if you haven't checked out my channel, go do that because there's tons of videos that might be able to answer your questions. And yeah, so anyways, thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and peace out.